Sorry, what is the charge? Is it? Okay, we're good. What is this one?
This is like a 7,000. I'm good on that too.
The ink is so sore you cannot read today.
Trying to jump down Cat's Ears. I think it's because of the lights behind us.
How you doing, man? All is well? Zeke needs going bananas.
Now see.
Sweet.
Yeah, this is I wonder if we have to switch it over the other way. It's gonna be so dark.
And now we have the shadows.
Turn it towards the wall. You say what? Turn it towards the wall. See if you can see some. If you can see light.
Towards the people?
No. I mean, right on that way. Just towards the wall.
I don't know what you want me to do.
It's better turn. I can turn like this.
I can see how it's moving in this facet. And you got to closer. Use your shadows. Nothing. Oh.
It's dark. We're having minor technical difficulties. Bear with us one moment. I mean, that's probably about as good as we gonna get it. Honestly.
So we got the reverse camera here.
Ain't no camera back. We have to actually move our table over there. You are. Because nothing can move the sun. What's your thing?
Yeah, these people know who we are. We know how we are. These shadow figures.
All right, y'all. Good morning. Who said good morning? Raise your hand. Who said it? Good afternoon, y'all. Y'all all right? Shabbat shalom. All right. Let's go ahead and pray in, and then we can get to this little hot and ready we got. This won't be a long one. This will be rather short. All minds clear? This is Deuteronomy, or Devarim, chapter 6, at verse 4. Hear, O Yisrael, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah is one. Shema Yisrael,
Shema Yisrael.
Yahuwah Eloheinu.
Yahuwah Eloheinu.
Yahuwah Echad.
Yahuwah Echad.
This is Exodus or Shemot chapter 20 at verse 3. We will have no other mighty ones.
We will have no other mighty ones.
Against the Most High.
Against the Most High.
We will not make any carved image.
We will not make any carved image.
Or any likeness.
Or any likeness.
Of that which is in Shamayim above.
That which is Shamayim above.
Or which is in the earth beneath.
Or which is in the earth beneath.
Or which is in the waters under the earth.
Or which is in the waters under the earth.
We will not bow down to them.
We will not bow down to them.
Nor serve them.
Nor serve them.
For Yahuwah El
Yahuwah
is a jealous El.
is a jealous El.
Visiting the wickedness
Visiting the wicked.
of the fathers on the children.
Of the fathers on the children.
To the third and fourth generation.
The third and fourth generation.
Of those that hate him.
Those that hate
But showing kindness
showing kindness.
to thousands of those
Thousands of
who
those
love him
who love
and keep his commandments.
and keep his commandments.
We will not bring the name
We will not bring the
of
name
Yahuwah El
Yahuwah El
to nothing.
to nothing.
For Yahuwah
For
will
Yahuwah
not leave us unpunished.
will not leave us unpunished.
Who brings his name to nothing.
Who brings his name to nothing.
We will remember the Shabbat day.
Who will remember the Shabbat
To
day.
keep it Kodesh.
Keep it Kodesh.
6 days we will labor.
6 days we will labor.
We'll do all our work.
Do all our
But
work.
the seventh day
But the seventh day
is the Shabbat.
is the Shabbat.
Yahuwah El.
Yahuwah El.
For in 6 days,
For 6 days.
Yahuwah made Shamayim
Yahuwah made Shamayim
and the earth
and the earth
and the sea
and the sea
and all that is in them.
and all that is in them.
And rested the seventh day.
And the rest of the seventh day.
Therefore Yahuwah Barak the Shabbat day.
Therefore Yahuwah Barak Shabbat day.
We will respect our fathers
We will respect our fathers
and our mothers,
and our
so
mothers.
that our days are long
And our days along
upon the earth.
upon the
We
earth.
will not murder.
We will not murder.
We will not commit adultery.
We will not commit adultery.
We will not steal.
We will not steal.
We will not bear false witness
We will not bear false witness
against our neighbor.
against our neighbor.
We will not covet
We will not covet
anything that is our neighbor.
as our neighbors.
Father God, we give thanks to you on this day for allowing us to come together again as a body, one heart, one mind, and one soul. Father, we ask that you allow your Ruach to rain down in this place, Father, that we may be filled with it, Father, that we may be able to receive correction and reproof with your word, Father. We ask that you allow your Ruach to rain down in this place, Father, that we may be able to attain wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of your word, and ultimately get to know you better, Father, through your word. All these things we pray and we give thanks. Father, we also want to ask for special prayer for everybody that's under the sound of my voice, Father, whether they're here in this building or whether they are out watching us on the live stream, Father. We just ask that you just lean and press upon them, Father, and remove anything that's unlike you in them, Father. We ask you to remove any illness, Father. We ask you to remove any mental issues, Father, anything that's unlike you, Father. We ask you just to remove, Father, that person can be made whole and can be visible in your eyesight, Father, whether the ailment is sin, Father, whether it's cancer or you name it, Father. I ask you, please remove it with your mighty stretched out arm, Father, that we be made whole in your eyes. All these things we pray and we give thanks. Bashem Yahuwah, Wabekah, Yahushua HaMashiach, Ruach HaKodesh, so be it.
So be it.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Can we get another water up here? One more water. Sheila, do me a favor. Go get me another water from the back. Hurry, 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 hurry. Hurry. Shabbat Shalom. How y'all doing today? I want to say Toda Yah for a successful event last week. I had a ball. I'm pretty sure everybody in here had a ball. I don't see all of the faces in here because I was going to actually acknowledge everybody for their contributions, for your hard work, your valiant effort. You know who you are, collectively, individually. I want to say thank you. Without everybody's efforts, we wouldn't have had the weekend that we had. You know what I'm saying? Everybody who put in hard labor cleaning up outside, to somebody who brought a pack of napkins. You know what I'm saying? I just want to say on behalf of the things that B was talking about was as far as the light. Oh, we back. All right. So what I was saying was I want to give a shout out to everybody that came through, everybody that watch us every week. Y'all are chosen seed. Y'all are family. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Trying to do it bigger next year. We're actually trying to get. You know what I'm saying? I can't give details on that yet, but we'll keep y'all updated. But let's get into it. Let's get into it. The title of this was called Honor Your Father, the Light. Honor your father, the light. The brother, I think it was DeAndre, he asked us a couple weeks ago, what does it mean to honor your father and your mother, right? You got your Strongs out? Grab your Strongs right quick. That Exodus chapter 20. You get that commandment right quick.
You said the light or the light?
The light. Doing right ain't nobody doing wrong. Right? Make sense? So, what do you think it means to honor your father and your mother? Again, if it was as simple as what it say, we wouldn't be teaching on it because it's self-explanatory. Right? Somebody give me something. What does it mean to honor your father and your mother? I heard something. Respect. Respect. All right, yes, being obedient. Okay. Yes. What else?
Don't bring shame to their name.
Don't bring shame to their name. We went over that. What else? All honor goes to Mashiach. Okay. Get that joint, Exodus chapter 20, with the father and mother.
Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. Honor thy father and thy mother,
That what?
that thy days may be long upon the land which Yahuwah thy Elohim giveth you.
So he said, honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land. Right? What is that honor? What is that word?
That is kabal, beg.
What does it mean?
The definition is to be heavy, be weighty, be grievous, be hard, be rich, be honorable, be glorious, be burdensome, be honored.
So when you talking about be heavy and all of this different type of stuff, be burdensome and all that, like, do that sound like what he mean? When he say honor your father and your mother? Be burdensome on them, be heavy on them, be, right? So I had to tap into my big brother B, you know what I'm saying, and ask him to try to help me out with this. So it actually falls under the PL form of the verb, right? PL form of the verb. Go back into that joint. Go down and read what it say under the PL.
Under the CL definition of H3513.
So it gives you two definitions here, right? It's a PL form, but everything has to move according to context, right? So let's see what it says.
To make heavy, make dull, make insensible. Number 2, to make honorable, honor, glorify.
So basically it's saying it's an action, right? So when you think honor your mother and your father, some people look at it like it's just a word. Well, you got to honor them. So, you know, go see them. Just don't disrespect them. Don't talk back to them. You know what I'm saying? But it's actually more to it than that. It's actually a little deeper. Like, we actually was talking about doing like a 2 or 3 part series about honor, because it's different definitions that go into this word honor. You know what I'm saying? But it says to to make honorable, to honor, or to esteem or glorify, right? So it's an action. It's something that goes into it. It's not just plain, hey, honor your mother and your father. It's an action, right? Get to Isaiah 43. Isaiah 43:23. Now, when we're looking at honor, it's only two. This commandment is the only commandment where he actually tells you to honor somebody, right? Other people have, you know, they earn your honor, right? Where they do something and then you honor them or you exalt them. Whether your mother or your father do well to you or they don't do well to you or well for you, this is the only spot in the scriptures where he tells you that it's a command for you to honor this person. Does that make sense? Which means that they play a significant part in your walk. The same honor that he tells you to give them is the same honor that he tells you to give himself. Right? I thought that was heavy. You know what I'm saying? Because that means that now I have to honor my father as if I'm honoring the Most High. I have to honor my mother as if I'm honoring the Most High. Does that change the dynamic in your relationship between your mother and your father? Just off that alone. Do that change the dynamic? Does that make you think about, dang, maybe I shouldn't have, right? A lot of people base it on merit. Oh, well, you know, my mama ain't did this for me, so do I gotta? Yes, you got it. Well, my mama act like this, and my dad act like this. Do I gotta? Yes, you do. You know what I'm saying? Isaiah chapter 43, verse 23. Yeah, go ahead.
Thou hast not brought me the small cattle of thy burnt offerings, neither hast thou honored me with thy sacrifices.
So he's talking about honor in you bringing him something, you doing something for him, right? You ain't honored me by bringing me the sacrifices, by bringing me, right? Keep reading.
I have not caused thee to serve with an offering, nor weary thee with incense.
Keep going.
Thou hast brought me no sweet cane with money, neither hast thou filled me with the fat of thy sacrifices.
So he's saying that this is the way that you ain't been honoring him. You ain't brought me this, you ain't did that, you ain't did this, you ain't did that, right? You ain't honoring me. You ain't bringing me the stuff that I'm asking you to bring me, right? Keep reading.
But thou hast made me to serve with thy sins, that thou hast wearied me with thine iniquity.
But you did what?
But thou hast made me to serve with thy sins.
But you made me to serve with your sins. And what?
Thou hast wearied me with thine iniquity.
You wearied me with your iniquities. He's your father, right? And the only thing you got for me is sin and iniquity, right? So what's another way you can honor him? If you're talking about these sacrifices, all of this type of stuff, what's another way that you can honor the Most High? Living righteously, right? Get Matthew chapter 23 and verse 12. 23 and 12. We're going to look at a couple different factors of this thing.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 23, verse 12. And whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humble himself shall be exalted.
So again, when we're talking about this honor, just on a separate note, right, with people, right? If you try to exalt yourself, oh, I'm going to get this type of honor, you're going to be put down low. But the person that humbles himself is going to actually get exalted. It's going to get honored. But when we're looking at our father and our mother, they already are put on that pedestal, right? It's no choice in that. It's no them, well, she got to be humble for me to do this. Well, he lifting himself up, so I'm not going. No, it don't work like that with your mother and your father. It's cut and dry, right? Psalms chapter 86. Pick it up at verse 9.
Psalms 86, verse 9. All nations whom thou hast made shall come and worship before thee, O Elohim, and shall glorify thy name.
Shall do what?
Glorify thy name.
So when that word glorify right there is that same honor, right? So it's showing that they are coming to do something to honor his name, right? They're going to come before you. They're going to worship you to honor your name. So everything that we're talking about here is doing something, right? So we'll get to that example in a minute. Get Judges chapter 13. Pick it up at verse 7.
Judges 13, verse 7. But he said unto me, behold, thou shalt conceive and bear a son, and now drink no wine nor strong drink, neither eat any unclean thing, for the child shall be a Nazarite.
Hold on. I think that's the wrong one. Okay, hold on, what's up? Where it says, he was supposed to. What's up? Let's drop that. Get 1 Samuel 10 and 13.
This is 1 Samuel chapter 10, verse 13. And when he had made an end of prophesying, he came to the high place. And Saul's uncle said unto him and to his servants, whither went ye? And he said, to seek the asses. And when he saw that they were nowhere, we came to Samuel. And Saul's uncle said, tell me, I pray thee, what Samuel said unto you. And Saul said unto his uncle, he told us plainly that the asses were found, but of the matter of the kingdom whereof Samuel spoke, he told him not. And Samuel called the people together unto Elohim to Mizpah, and said unto the children of Israel, thus saith the Elohim of Israel, I brought up Israel out of Egypt and delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians and out of the hand of all kingdoms and of them that oppressed you. And ye have this day rejected your Elohim, who himself saved you out of all your adversities and your tribulations, and ye have not said unto him, nay, but set a king over us. Now therefore present yourselves before the Lord Elohim by your tribes and by your thousands.
All right, drop that out. That's the wrong stuff right down here. Get Proverbs 28:24.
Okay.
28:24.
This is the book of Proverbs 28 and 24. Whoso robbeth his father or his mother and saith, it is no transgression, the same is the companion of a destroyer.
So it says, whoso rob his father or his mother, the same is the companion of a what now?
A robber, the companion of a destroyer.
So it says, if you rob your father or your mother, the same is a companion of a destroyer, right? Now, what does it mean to rob your father or your mother? Say it again. You said to steal. Somebody else said something else? Take away the honor. Right? Get Proverbs 20 and 20. I hit this last week. To take away the honor, right? Let's see what happens.
This is Proverbs chapter 20, verse 20. Whoso curses his father or his mother, his lamp shall be put out in obscure darkness.
So he says, if you curse your father and your mother, then your lamp or your light going to be put out in obscure darkness. Right? So you take away their honor, you get that lamp put out. Right? No light in you. So when it comes to honoring your physical father and mother, it go hand in hand with honoring the Most High. Correct? Get Isaiah chapter 46 and verse 10. Excuse me for the inconsistency. We're going to get it moving now.
Isaiah 46.
Isaiah 46 and 10. So what was that light that we was talking about before? Mashiach. Right? What else was the light? What was he? What was he made flesh?
Word.
The word made flesh, the law. Right? So we talked about being the sons of the Most High, right? Being the sons of the Most High, that means that you have a father, right? Which means that you got to display the same honor for your father as you would on earth, right? Isaiah 46 and 10.
Isaiah 46 and 10. Declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times the things that are not yet done.
So we about to deal with the light, right? How this ties into honoring your father, honoring your mother, right? Read that one more time.
Declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times the things that are not yet done.
So he said he declares the end from the beginning. So let's do something. Let's go to Revelation chapter 21, verse 22. Let's see this light. Let's see it in the end, and then we're going to jump back around and show it in the beginning and see how this all makes sense with your father, honoring your father.
Revelation 21, verse 22. And I saw no temple therein, for the Lord God Almighty and the Lamb are the temple of it.
So he says that this is talking about the kingdom, right? Remember, Shamayim supposed to come down to what?
Earth.
To earth, right? So he says there wasn't no temple therein because they was the temple of it. Go ahead.
And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon.
He said, and the city had no need of the sun or the moon. Why?
To shine in it, for the glory of God did lighten it.
Because the esteem of the Most High lightened it, right? So it wasn't no need for a sun, wasn't no need for the moon, because he was the light of it. Go ahead.
And the Lamb is the light thereof.
And the Lamb is the what?
Light thereof.
So the Lamb is who? Mashiach. So the esteem of the Father is the lamp, and Mashiach, the Lamb, is the light of this kingdom, right? How did this go back to the beginning? No sun, no moon, but we got a light there. Very beginning, right? Let's go to Genesis chapter 1. Let's pick it up at verse 1.
Genesis 1 and 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void.
So the earth was without form and void, right? And what?
And darkness was upon the face of the deep.
Now, was the water inside of the earth or outside of the earth? Say it again. What'd you say?
Earth was under the water.
Right? Then it says that his ruach moved upon the what?
Face of the deep.
The face of the deep, right? He read.
And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters, and God said, let there be light, and
So-
there was light.
So he said, let there be light. So where did he create light at that point? In the earth, right? So on the earth now is light. So if Revelations chapter 21 says that the Lamb was the light of that place, what was the light here? The Lamb. So who did he send to the earth? He sent Mashiach to the earth, right? So he can be the light of it, right? Get John chapter 11, verse 10. So we got the light in the end says that the Lamb was the light of this earth, right? Then in the beginning, we got to see that the light was also the light of the earth. Did he mention anything about a sun yet? Did he mention anything about a moon yet? So when he said, let there be light, he was sent into the world. John chapter 11 and verse 10.
John chapter 11, verse 10. But if a man walk in the night, he stumbleth.
Start at verse 9, huh?
Hamashiach answered, are there not 12 hours in the day? If any man walk in the day, he stumbleth not, because he seeth the light of this world.
Because he see the what?
Light of this world.
So he said, if you walking in the day, then you see the light of this world, right? So in Genesis chapter 1, when he's inside of the earth, he is the light, right? Go ahead.
But if a man walk in the night, he stumbleth, because there is no light in him.
He said, but if you walk in the what?
Night.
If you walk in the night, in the darkness, where there's an absence of light, then he stumbled. Ain't no light in him, right? John chapter 9, verse 4. We getting somewhere.
This is the book of John chapter 9, verse 4. I must work the works of him that sent me.
He said, I must do what?
Work the works of him that sent me.
I must work the works of him that sent me. Now, in the beginning, the Most High said what? Let there be light, right? So we understand that that was Mashiach being sent into the world, right? To be the light of it, right? He said, I got to work the works of him that sent me what?
He said, while it is day.
While it is what?
While it is day.
When the work was going on in the beginning, when he was in the earth, when there was light on the earth, he was actually doing what? Creating, right? When all those plants got planted and all of these things happened, that was him actually physically doing work, right? Read.
The night cometh when no man can work.
The night come with what?
No man can work.
So when the evening hit, where did he go? He went back to his father. Right? It's just like you every day. You go out, you go to work in the morning. After you leave the job, it's over. Right? But this is establishing that he was the light, right? Go ahead.
Verse 5. As long as I am in the world.
As long as what?
I am in the world.
As long as he is in the world, then what?
I am the light of the world.
Then he is the light of the world. Right? So now once there was no need for him to be in the world as the light, now you see where he creates a sun to take his place. Right? It became that great light, right? Get John chapter 3, verse 19.
Said chapter 3.
Yep, John chapter 3, verse 19.
This is John chapter 3, verse 19. And this is the condemnation, that light is coming to the world.
So he said, this is the condemnation, that light coming to the world, that what?
And men love darkness rather than light.
Men do what?
Love darkness rather than light.
Men love darkness rather than they love light. Right? Now again, I know y'all probably thinking, what in the world has got to do with honor your father and honor your mother? Well, we gonna get to it, right? So it said men love darkness, right? Mm-hmm. They love
darkness rather than light.
They love darkness rather than light. Get me Isaiah chapter 8, verse 20. Let's see what they love.
Isaiah chapter 8, verse 20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this world.
So it said to the law and to the testimony, right? These two things go hand in hand. If they speak not according to this word, then what?
It is because there is no light in them.
So they don't love the law nor the testimony. Right? Now this testimony is talking about Mashiach. So the men that don't love Mashiach, that JC cat, they don't love the light. The people that don't believe of the prophecies of the book, they don't love the light. The people who don't keep the law, they don't love the light. What do this got to do with honor your father? Mashiach honored his father. Okay. Let's see something. Now he says, to the law and to the testimony. The testimonies come through the book through prophecy of Mashiach, right? Get John chapter 5, pick it up at verse 44. Cole, real quick. You get John chapter 1 and verse 1.
This is John chapter 5, verse 44.
Matter of fact, verse 43.
Verse 43. I am come in my Father's name, and ye receive me not.
I come in my Father's name, and you don't even receive me. Read.
If another shall come in his own name, him ye will receive. Verse 44. How can ye believe which ye receive honor one of another?
He said, how you going to believe the people that receive honor one of another? So a lot of these people out here are following men, right? But they getting honored by other men. You believe them. But when it comes to the scriptures, you turn a blind ear, right? You follow after what we call camp doctrine for the most part, and actually don't peer yourself into the scriptures to see what's going on, because there's a message in here, right? So he said, you falling for the people who receive honor of themselves, but what did he say after that?
Verse 45, he said, I'm sorry.
Read
And
verse
seek
44
not,
again.
and seek not the honor that cometh from Yah only.
So he said, and seek not the honor that come from who?
Yah only.
The Yah only. Who did Yah tell you to honor? Read that one more time, Mark.
How can ye believe which ye receive honor one of another, and seek not the honor that cometh from Yah only?
He told you to honor your what?
Mother and father.
But who he talking about right here? Talking about himself. What do the light got to do with this honor? Everything, every word that the Most High speak, it's never idle. So when he told you to honor your mother and your father in Exodus 20, you don't think it was a part of prophecy? Because who was coming into the world? Which is your father. How many of y'all say, nah, man, you tripping? I don't know. Give me Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6. Boy, can't even laugh.
Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6. For unto us a child is born.
Or what is born?
A child is born.
Or what is born?
A child is born.
Is the Father, the Most High, a child? Was he born? No. He said, unto who?
Us.
Unto us. Or what was born?
A child is born.
Go ahead.
Unto us.
Unto us, or what?
Son is given.
A son is given. He said that he was sent into the world. He said, unto us a son was given. Right? Son came from the Most High. Read.
And the government shall be upon his shoulders.
And rulership shall be where?
Upon his shoulders.
Upon his shoulders. And what?
And he shall be called Wonderful.
He shall be called what?
Wonderful.
And what else?
Counselor.
And what else?
The mighty Yah.
The who?
The mighty Yah.
The who?
The mighty Yah.
He gonna be called the mighty Yah. And what else?
The everlasting Father.
The what?
The everlasting Father.
Ooh.
The Prince of Peace.
He was gonna be called the everlasting Father. Right? So when he telling you to honor your father and your mother back then, who he setting you up for? Mashiach. Now, guess who you had practice with? Your mother and your father. Think on it. Think on it. How did you do for your mother and your father? How do you honor them? Like you say, honor. You didn't honor me by giving me this, or by doing this for me, or by doing that for me. It's not just a word. It's something that is attached to an action. Right? Where you at?
Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6.
Read that again.
For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty Yah, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace.
Now, hold that. What I got you over here in John chapter 1. Get John chapter 1. Pick it up at verse 1.
John chapter 1 and verse 1. In the beginning was the Word.
Was the who?
Was the Word.
Uh-huh.
And the Word was with Elohim. And the Word was Elohim.
Uh-huh.
The same was in the beginning with Elohim.
Anybody get that? Are y'all confused at that? In the beginning was the Word, right? The Word was what?
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with Elohim.
The Word was with Elohim, the Most High, right? And what?
And the Word was Elohim.
But he was an Elohim himself. That makes sense? Go ahead.
The same was in the beginning with Elohim.
Y'all, it makes sense now, right? So you got the Father, which is power, Elohim, but then you got his Son, which also bears power, right? Can you read?
All things were made by him.
All things were what?
Made by him.
When did creation start after the earth was made? Let's go back to Genesis chapter 1. You right, Doc. You see that? Genesis chapter 1 and 1. So you got the creation of the earth and the heavens. It was darkness on there, right?
This is Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, Yah created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of Yah moved upon the face of the waters. And Yah said, let there be light, and there was light.
So he said, let there be light, and there was light, right? And what did the light do? Go ahead.
And Yah saw that the light, that it was good. And Yah divided the light from the darkness. And Yah called the light day. And the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day.
So when he sent his Son in the world, that was a creation within itself, right? But was any work done on the earth yet? No. When did the work start to transpire? Because right here it says that everything was made by who? Read that again, huh? In John chapter 1.
John chapter 1 and 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with Elohim, and the Word was Elohim. The same was in the beginning with Elohim.
Drop down to verse 3.
All things were made by him.
All things were made by who?
By him.
All things was made by Mashiach, the Lamb, the light. So over here in Genesis chapter 1, read verse 5. Matter of fact, verse 6.
And Yah said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters.
So now on this second day, when the light comes back into the earth, what did he say?
Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters.
So what did the light have to do? He had to create it. Right? Go ahead.
And let it divide the waters from the waters.
So Mashiach is in there putting together the firmament. Mashiach is in there dividing the waters from the waters. Mashiach is doing this work, right? He said, I must work the works of him that sent me while it is yet what? Day. So in the beginning, he's the one that's in there doing all of the work. So over here in John chapter 1, when it says all things were made by him, that ain't no lie. Because he was the light that created it in the beginning. Go back to John chapter 1. Read what you got. Where you left off.
Verse 3. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life.
In him was what?
Was life.
In him was what?
Was life.
In him was life and what?
And the life of the light of men.
In him was the life and the life of the what of men?
The light of men.
That means that men possess this same type of light. But how do you get it? You can only receive the light if you honor the light. That only makes sense, right? You can only receive light if you honor the what?
The light.
That your days may be what?
Long.
Upon what?
The land.
What did he say in Revelations 21? That it was going to be a heavens come down to the earth and, right? If you want to live long on this land, then you have to be able to honor the light. You got to honor the Lamb. Or else you're not going to be there. You're going to see that. Keep reading where you at.
And the light shineth in darkness.
In what?
In darkness.
Before it was darkness on the face of the deep. Until he got there. So like B was talking about last week, right? He's talking about let it shine. Now, you're supposed to possess the light. To shine in a dark place, right? Keep reading.
And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. There was a man sent from Elohim, whose name was John. The same came for a witness, to bear witness of that light.
To bear witness of the what?
Of that light.
So they understood that Genesis chapter 1 and Isaiah chapter 8 was prophecy of somebody to come. John knew. Let's see.
That all men through him might believe. He was not that light.
He was what?
He was not that light.
I ain't the light, but what?
But was sent to bear witness that light, of that light. That was the true light, which light of every man.
That was like what?
That light of every man.
So if every man possesses this light, all you have to do is be able to tap into it, right? Read.
That cometh into the world. He was in the world, and the world was made by him.
Whoa. He said he was what?
He was in the world.
Didn't he go into the world as a light?
That's right.
He said and the world was made by what?
And the world was made by him.
Go ahead.
And the world knew him not.
But now when he actually get here in the flesh, you don't even know me. I made you, but you don't know me. I created the light that's in you, but you can't recognize me because you seek to honor those that receive honor one of another, as opposed to honoring the one that the Most High told you to honor, your Father. Right? Go ahead.
He came into his own, and his own received him not. But as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of Elohim.
So he said, these is the people that received him, that received the power of Elohim. Right? To be the sons of the Most High. Go back to Proverbs 28:24. I mean 20 and 20. Proverbs 20 and 20. So if he was the light that was brought into the world, you're supposed to honor him so you can receive the light. If you don't honor him, then this will happen.
Proverbs 20, verse 20. Whoso curseth his father or his mother, his lamp
His
shall
what?
be, his father or his mother, his lamp shall be put out in obscure darkness.
His lamp shall be put out in obscure darkness. John chapter 12, verse 35.
This is John chapter 12, verse number 35. Then Mashiach said unto them, yet a little while is the light with you.
He said, what now?
Yet a little while is the light with you.
It's not going to be here forever. He said, yet a little while the light is with you. Go ahead.
Walk while ye have the light, lest darkness come upon you.
Lest darkness do what?
Come upon you.
It's not hard to dishonor the Most High. It's not hard to dishonor Mashiach. All you have to do is go and commit the same thing that you used to commit. Sin. as easy as that. It's as simple as that to dishonor him. Read.
For he that walketh in darkness knoweth not whither he goeth. While ye have the light, believe in the light, that ye may be the children of light.
That you may be what now?
The children of light.
If you are the children of the light, then what are you called? Sons of Elohim. Right? But what did he say about people that wasn't sons, the illegitimate? That they was going to be what? They was going to be bastards. Right? You know son of mine. Keep reading.
These things spake Hamashiach and departed, and did hide himself from them.
1 Thessalonians 5:5.
This is 1 Thessalonians 5:5. Ye are all the children of the light and of the children of the day. We are not of the night.
He said you are the children of the what?
Light.
The children of the light and the children of the what?
Day.
And the children of the day. Oh, what you got? Go back to Genesis chapter 1. Pick it up at verse 3.
This is Genesis chapter 1, verse 3. And Yah said, let there be light, and there was light. And Yah saw the light, that it was good. And Yah divided the light from the darkness.
So he divided the light from the darkness and what?
And Yah called the light day.
He called the what?
The light day.
So Mashiach was called what? Didn't he tell you he was about to be the children of the
Day.
day? Right? So we got to look at this thing like everything that he talked. Quab actually brought out a lesson about this before, right? Talking about separating the children of the light from the children of the darkness. So everything that we're reading over here in Genesis, yes, it has physical properties, but it also has a spiritual underlying message. Right? Go back to that joint that you was just at. 1 Thessalonians 5.
1 Thessalonians 5, verse 5. Ye are all the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness.
We ain't of the night, nor are we of the darkness. But what happens if he get here and you're not bearing the light?
Verse 6.
Verse 6.
Verse 6. Therefore let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober.
So what happens if he come here and you not bearing the light? If you ain't honored your father, because honoring your father and your mother go hand in hand with you actually honoring him. So if you can think on your relationships with your father, your mother, right? And how you treat them. Even your in-laws. How many of y'all got in-laws? You like, oh my goodness. Right? What happens when you two become one flesh? That means that their father and their mother is what? Ooh. 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 Reflect on that. How many of y'all treat your in-laws like how you supposed to? No, you do that? I know you do. So my mama right here, do she So if you don't honor your in-laws like you would do your own, guess who you're not honoring? That's a direct reflection on whether you're going to make it into the kingdom. This is the only people that they told you that you have to what? You have to honor them. It's no getting around it. It's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's no, well, today she was acting a monkey, so I can't. It's none of that. Because he said, he that don't honor his father and his mother, your lamp going to get put out. Right? You got to make sure that you understand what's really going on. Where I got you at, Doc?
Genesis 1 and 5. I'm sorry, 1 Thessalonians 5 and 5.
Get Matthew chapter 22. Actually, you know what? Let's scratch that. Let's go to Genesis chapter 3. Genesis chapter 3. That's right. Pick it up at verse 1.
Genesis chapter 3, verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any of the beasts of the field which Yah hath made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath Yah said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Yah hath said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die.
So, that was the whole thing, right? The beast came up and said, look, that you supposed to eat it. Like, nah, I ain't supposed to eat it. I ain't supposed to touch it. Right? Now, go back to Genesis chapter 2. Pick it up at verse. Pick it up at verse 19.
Genesis chapter 2, verse 19. And out of the ground Yahuwah formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what.
My bad. Verse 18.
Verse 18. And Yahuwah said, It is not good that the man should be alone, and I will make him a helpmeet for him.
So, he done made him a helpmeet, right? But this is before the beast came up, and the beast is dealing with Eve, right? Drop down to verse 23. Verse 21.
Verse 21. And Yahuwah caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam. And he slept, and he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which Yah had taken from man made he a woman and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Keep going.
Yep.
Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh.
And they were what?
And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed.
So let me ask y'all this. Because Adam was made in the image of the Most High. Now, if y'all don't know this answer, I'm going to be disappointed, because Quab did a whole joint on this. Made in the image of the Most High. And the Most High was what? According to Revelation 21, what was he? The light. What was Adam? Adam bore light. Y'all remember this lesson Quab brought up? You remember this lesson brought up? He was the light, right? So when it says they were naked and they weren't ashamed, what did they bear? The light. Right? So, remember he said he declared the end from the beginning, right? Okay. Let's go back to Genesis chapter 3. Let's drop down to verse 6.
Genesis chapter 3, verse 6. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her. And he did eat. And the eyes of them both were open.
And the what?
And the eyes of them were both open.
Yeah.
And they knew that they were naked.
And they knew that they was what?
Naked.
What just happened? The light went out. Right? So now that the light gone, they like, oh my goodness, it's gone. So now what do they got to do?
Cover themselves.
They got to cover themselves. Because before, they was naked and they wasn't
ashamed.
Right?
Obscure darkness.
So, if they were naked and wasn't ashamed and they bore the light, now they done ate of this fruit and dishonored their, what got put out? Light got put out. Right? Remember, he says, you dishonor your father and your mother, then your lamp is going to get put out. Right?
Long upon this land.
Absolutely.
What they had to do as soon as we found out.
Absolutely. So, hold on one second. Hold what you got. Go back to Exodus chapter 20. So as long as they bore the light and they were honoring the Most High, where was they at? No, where was they at?
In the garden.
In the garden. Exodus chapter 20, verse 12.
Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. Honor thy father and thy mothers, that the days may be long upon the land which Yah hath given thee.
Would Yah have done what?
Given thee.
Where did the Most High sit the man at?
In the garden.
In the garden. After they lost the light, what happened? Because they didn't honor their father.
You gotta go. Beat it.
Right? They lost the light. They didn't honor their father. You can't be here with me. You not bearing the light. Like what Quad was saying before, they had everything. They didn't have to work. They had all of the riches, so to speak. They had everything that man could have, and they blew it. They got kicked out because they didn't honor their father. So, like he said, declaring the end from the what? Okay. Revelation chapter 3. Pick it up at verse. Pick it up at verse 15.
Revelations chapter.
Actually, start at verse. Revelations chapter 3. Matter of fact, pick it up. No, yeah, pick it up at verse 15.
Revelation 3:15. I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would thou wert cold or hot.
I wish you was just one or the other. But go ahead.
So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. Because thou sayest, I am rich and increased with goods.
So wasn't Adam and Eve increased in goods? And all these trees to eat from? They didn't have to work for it. That none of this stuff they had to deal with and work for, right? Read.
Because thou sayest, I am rich and increased with goods, and have need of nothing.
And have need of what?
Nothing.
Did Adam and Eve have need of anything? When they was in the garden, they didn't need nothing, right? Read.
And knowest not that thou art wretched and miserable.
But you what?
Wretched and miserable.
How in the world do you have everything and then you turn around and say, well, I know that this tree is good to make me wise. He already gave you the wisdom. I know that this tree is good for food. He already gave it to you. Right? Read.
That thou art wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked.
And what?
And naked.
Now you naked. So because they took what they had for granted and they ate from that thing what you told them not to eat, they became naked and what? And ashamed. They lost their light. So when you don't honor your father and your mother and your light go out, if you don't keep the commandments and your light go out, that means you're not wearing what he gave to put on you. He said he the light of men. That light is inside of men. It's supposed to do what? Shine out. Right? Matthew chapter 22. Verse 12.
Matthew chapter 22 and verse 12. And he saith unto him, Friend, comest thou...
Pick it up at verse 10.
At verse 10. So those servants...
Verse 9.
Verse 9. Verse 8. Then saith he to his servants, The wedding is ready.
The what?
The wedding is ready.
The wedding is ready. That's when everything come back together, right? Go ahead.
But they which were bidden were not worthy.
But they which were bidden were what?
Not worthy.
Because they didn't honor him. Right? Read.
But they which were bidden were not worthy. Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye shall find, bid to the marriage.
So when he said that he's the light of all men, did that only include Israel? No. So when he say go out and find as many people as you can, I want you to go and see if you can get his light going. 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 Whoever gonna accept it, I want you to get them going. Because those are the garments that you're going to have to wear when you come into my kingdom. Right? Read.
So those servants went out into the highways and gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good. And the wedding was furnished with guests.
So you got the bad and the good, right? Same thing as the what? Wheats and the tares.
That's right.
Everybody look the same right now. Everybody look the same. The only way that you can show your light right now is by your deeds. It ain't on you. Oh, brother, you shine. He ain't talking about the light coming down on your head. Right? Everybody look the same. But he said you had some that were good and you had some that were bad. Read on.
And the wedding was furnished with guests.
So everybody there. He said he got one event set for all people. Right? Read.
And when the king came in to see the guests, he saw there was a man which had not on a wedding garment.
He ain't have on what?
A wedding garment.
He ain't got what on?
A wedding garment.
What he not wearing? He ain't wearing the light. Read.
And he said unto him, Friend, how camest thou in hither not having a wedding garment?
How you come in here you ain't got no light on? What happened?
And he was speechless.
He was what?
Speechless.
Go ahead.
Then said the king to the servants, Bind him hand and foot.
Do what?
Bind him hand and foot.
And do what?
Take him away.
Take him away and do what with him?
And cast him into outer darkness.
Cast him where?
Into outer darkness.
Because there's an absence of what there?
Light.
But you're going to be in outer darkness. Right? Proverbs chapter 28, verse 24.
Proverbs chapter 28, verse number 24.
I'm sorry, 20 and 20.
20 and 20. Proverbs 20 and 20. A faithful man shall abound with blessings, but he that maketh haste to be rich shall not be innocent.
That's right too, but still. 20 and 20.
20 and 20. Proverbs chapter 20, verse 20. 28. Oh, I'm sorry.
The word is right. Whatever came out was supposed to. So he said this person that came to the wedding without a garment on got kicked out into what?
Outer darkness.
Outer darkness. Right? Go ahead.
Proverbs chapter 20, verse 20. Whoso curses his father or his mother, his lamp shall be put out in obscure darkness.
In what?
Obscure darkness.
You're going to be put out in obscure darkness. If you don't do those things necessary to honor your father and your mother, in-laws, whatever happens. Right? Go ahead.
And that darkness here is the deepest blackness.
The what?
the deepest blackness, like how he talked about in Exodus, about the thick darkness, right? Even if you got a lamp, a light or something, you still can't see out of it. Like, the only thing that you can even think of that's kind of close to that is being in a fire or something. That smoke, you can't see through it. Or like when the fog be at its worst, and your headlights is on, but you still can't see through it. And this is way worse.
The abyss. Right? So, that's all I got. Questions, comments?
Love it, you hate it.
So, not curse like curse words. But if you do say that to your mother, that's not honoring her. I will say that.
I just want to know because I want to know, like, you going to that type of, or I hope you go to, you know what I mean? I need to know what kind of curse.
Let's look at, go back to that Proverbs 28:24. Oh, you about to say something? Proverbs 28:24. You get Bob, you get Proverbs 20:20 again. And then we gonna jump over into Matthew.
You said Proverbs 28.
28:24. You get the 20 and 20. And then we gonna jump into Matthew 15.
You ready?
Yep.
Proverbs 28, verse 24. Whoso robbeth his father or his mother.
So, right here he say who robbed him, right? Over here he say what?
Proverbs 20 and 20. Whoso curseth his father or his mother.
So these two things he mentioned, right? What do that curse mean right there?
Comes from the Hebrew word 8:70:43. To be slight, be swift, be trifling, be of a little account.
To be of a little account, lowly, to treat him lowly, to be slick with him, right? Go ahead.
To be slight, be abated.
To do what?
Be slight, be abated.
Now, what's the opposite of exalting them or honoring them? To put them low, right? What else?
To be swift, show oneself swift. To appear trifling, be too trifling, be insignificant. To be lightly esteemed.
It said to be what?
Lightly esteemed.
To lightly esteem them. Right? So everything that it's talking about in here is the opposite of honor. Right? Whatever you can put into that category, you put in there. But we're going to give you an example of people that did it. Right? So it says over here in Proverbs 28:24, what?
Whosoever robbeth his father or his mother and saith it is no transgression.
It is what?
No transgression.
So they did this and said that it ain't no transgression. Right? I ain't did nothing wrong. What?
The same is the companion of a destroyer.
Okay. Let's go to Matthew chapter 15. Hold on, let me see if that's the right one. Matthew chapter 15, we're going to pick it up at verse 1.
Matthew 15, verse 1. Then came to Hamashiach the scribes and the Pharisees which were of Jerusalem, saying, Why do thy disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread. But he answered and said unto them, Why do ye also transgress the commandments of Yah by your tradition?
So it said the stuff that you do with your traditions transgress the commandments of the Most High, right? Which means that whatever he's about to speak about is a commandment, right? Go ahead.
For Yah commanded, saying, honor thy father and thy mother, and he that curses his father or mother, let him die the death.
Let him do what?
Die the death.
He that do what to his father or his mother?
Curses.
Curse his father or his mother. Let him do what?
Die the death.
Die the death. Now let's look at an example of what he means. Now that's deep. I know.
It's not talking about just dying. It's talking about
The second death.
Oh.
Remember, your honor for your father and your mother is equivalent to the honor that you're supposed to have for. So if you don't honor the Most High and His Son in that regard, then you're going to die to death. But if you also don't honor your father and your mother here on earth, you're going to do what?
Die the death.
That's not nothing to play with.
In-laws too.
Right? Go ahead.
But ye say, whosoever shall say unto his father or mother,
He said, but y'all say, right? So there were things that belonged to their parents after a while. We read about it in the Talmud, right? And these people will be disrespecting their parents. They would take their house and they'd sell their house and give it to the priest, whatever them people names are. The priest, right? Which would be like leaving their parents out with nothing, right? Read.
but ye say, whosoever shall.
But they would give them a little bit of the money, you know what I'm saying? But they did this out of their authority, right? Go ahead.
Whosoever shall say to his father or his mother, it is a gift by whatsoever thou mightest be profited by me.
But it's a gift. I did this, and you know what I'm saying? I gave you a little something. This is a part of the traditions, right? Read.
And honor not his father or his mother, he shall be free.
They let them go. You let these people dishonor their mother and father and let them go. Remember, he said, you honor me with sacrifices, with this, with that, like stuff that you bringing to me. And instead of them giving their parents this stuff or allowing their parents to have this stuff, they were doing the opposite and taking it from them. Right? They said, now when you do that, you let them go free. Right? You let them go free, right? So according to the law, they supposed to die to death. But you, because you're in the position that you in, you saying, no, y'all good. You free to go. Right? So when it's talking about cursing your father and your mother, it's talking about to abate them, to put them low. So anything that's dishonorable to them is a curse to them. Right? Or cursing them. Right? So like you got brothers that's out here said that they killed their mama because they felt like they was Esau. What? They just was in violation of this. Yeah, the one brother said he'd kill his mama because she white.
He turned his head when he saw me.
He's in danger of dying to death. That makes sense? What if he came, when Mashiach came down and he had the light on him? He like, oh, that's a white man. Kill him. You know what I'm saying? Just throw something out there. He died to death. You know what I'm saying? So when it's talking about cursing them, it's anything that's dishonorable. It's cursing your father and your mother. You got to get put out into that outer darkness.
So for instance, like on a natural level, somebody's mother or father was like older or something, right? And they were sick for a while. You never went to visit them, right? Don't go see them. You don't go check on them. None of this type of stuff, right? You don't even call or whatever it be. You don't do none of this. So a lot of people's conscience get them. So when the person finally passed, they the loudest one at the funeral acting a fool. See, because you feel some type of way because you didn't do what you were supposed to do while they was there, right? This stuff is like telling. Right, so now you got to put on a show in front of everybody to act. But y'all already know, it's already written that you didn't do this. You know what I'm saying? That's just on more of a natural level so you can get it. Go ahead, Al.
I just want to have some understanding about that light in Genesis. And because I guess the way it's worded, it says like, then they knew, not like they thought they were naked, but like then they knew, as if they actually were. And I'm sure y'all familiar. A lot of people that speak against the Bible try to use this to say like, you know, God, they messed up. You know, when they started listening to the serpent, their eyes became open. So my speculation is like it was the light that clothed them in the first place. So if the light went out, because you think about it, like if the light's out, like it's like pure darkness, that's when you wouldn't know if you're naked or not, like just on a carnal level of like with human eyesight and stuff. Unless something is just so bright that you can't really even, you know, you can't even look to see what's going on. So my speculation is that the thing that hid their nakedness was the light, as a parent protects their kids. I'm just trying to make sense of it. That was so massive.
At that particular point, the sun was out. Right. The sun was created at that point when they was walking around with the light. So when the light do go out, you still will be able to be seen. It's not like it was darkness everywhere else. Right. The sun is created at this point. So now, that's why I said they was naked, but they was not ashamed. So now, I know I'm naked, but I'm still covered because I got my light on. Now, once you sin, it extinguishes.
Put the lamp on.
Now, I'm seeing, just like you might be walking around in the house without whatever on. But if somebody comes to that door, the automatic first thing that the natural person is going to do is they're going to try to grab something. Hold on a minute! You know what I'm saying?
Unless you got a God complex. And they was created in the image of Elohim. Every time Elohim would be with the light. So they had to want you anything to be ashamed of if you identifying with the Most High and Mashiach. But so when the light went out, they was no longer, I guess, completely like in his image now. It's like
you are ashamed in Genesis chapter 5. You are ashamed now because you have been exposed in your sin. But let's see. Genesis chapter 5.
Genesis chapter 5 at verse.
Pick it up at verse 1.
At verse 1. This is the book of the generations of Adam. In the day that Elohim created man in the likeness of Elohim made he him. Male and female created he them and increased them. And he called their name Adam in the day when they were created. And Adam lived 130 years and begot a son in his own likeness.
In what?
In his own likeness.
Wait a minute, in Yah's likeness.
In his own likeness.
In what?
In his own likeness.
So right here is a clear distinction that this son is created in Adam's own image, because now you're not really in Yah's image anymore. Like the Ak was saying, we're not walking around with light on us anymore to a degree. Some people still got a light in them. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes people gravitate to certain people. Right? Go ahead.
That cleared up?
appreciate it.
Anybody else got any questions in here? My man.
You got one more thing.
But I forget. Talk to me.
It said the parents' part, in-law part, the grandparents too.
Grandparents too. Grandparents too. All the parents. It's kind of like this, right? When a president becomes the president and he leaves office, what does everybody call him? President. Still Mr. President. So whether it's your grandfather, your great-grandfather, that's mama, that's papa, that's daddy, that's, you know what I'm saying? They still your parents, so you still got to honor them. Make sense? All right, we got questions on the chat. If we ain't got nothing else in here. Nothing? Hold on, we about to get to the questions on the chat. This one right there. In 2 Kings 3:27 was the wrath that was turned against Israel because of Leviticus 20:4-5, or was that wrath another deity? 2 Kings 3:27.
Says, then he took his eldest son that should have reigned in his stead and offered him for a burnt offering upon the wall, and there was great indignation against Israel, and they departed from him and returned to their own land.
So he says, was the wrath that was turned against Israel because of Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 4 or 5? Or was that another deity? 20 and verse 4 and 5.
Yeah, it sounds like it go with it. It looked like it, but I would actually have to go back and just actually read this throughout that whole story to get the entire context on it.
We'll get back with you. We'll get back with you. Let us go through it. Next question. Question from last week. When Cain found his wife, who did she come from? Who was the people in the city of Nod?
Well, without using any outside books, you got to go back to Genesis 5.
You got it up. What verse?
Kick it up at verse 3.
Genesis 5, verse number 3. And Adam lived 130 years and begat a son in his own likeness, after his image, and called his name Seth. And the days of Adam after he had begot Seth were 800 years, and he begat sons and daughters.
He did what?
Begat sons and daughters.
So it lets us know that Adam had sons and daughters, which they don't talk about them through the stories, right? So I can't definitively answer this dogmatically, but from other texts it says that he married one of his sisters. So back before the laws in Leviticus was actually handed down. So I'm just going to say that, and I'm going to leave that alone.
All right. Next question. When is your next baptism? Whenever you ready. Whenever you ready. And that go for anybody in here too. You know what I'm saying? If y'all ready to hit that water, let us know so we can make it happen.
Quicker the better. Don't wait until it's November and all that and then say, yeah, I want to go in because I was sitting traveling out there.
He always do.
Right? So don't do it.
If y'all got any love for me not freezing, you know, whenever you're ready though. Whenever you're ready. Next question. What's your opinion on multiple marriage?
I'll see you later.
I'll let you go ahead and answer this question.
Well, we don't speak against it because it's in the law. So we don't speak against it, but we don't practice it because it's not wise.
So, pretty much, in a nutshell, though things may be lawful, all things are not expedient.
That's right.
Right? If we came out here and said, oh no, such and such, such and such, such and such, it's a sin, it's this, it's that, we'd be lying to you. You know what I'm saying? Only sin come in where it's, if it's a law about it.
And we get a script because a lot of people in their feelings speak against it and talk bad about it, which you shouldn't do, right? Again, I made a post. If sisters just don't do it. Real simple. Just don't do it. But don't come out and speak against it. Because when you do that, now you are, like Trav Lesson was talking about, you're putting your light out. Isaiah chapter 8, verse 20. Why he says, be slow to speak. Just be quiet about it. If you don't want to participate, don't do it.
And the thing that people get caught up on is the men that are doing it may be foul, but you can't start going at the scriptures in a different type of way. You know what I'm saying? You got to separate the people from the book. You know what I'm saying? Isaiah chapter 8, verse 20. To the Torah and to the witness.
To what?
From the Torah and to the witness.
Go ahead.
If they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them.
There's what?
No light in them.
So when you get mad and get in your emotions and you start speaking against the scriptures that says that this is lawful, you are putting your own light out. So it's best to just be quiet about it. And if you don't want to do it, then don't do it. Just that simple.
It costs you nothing to pay it no mind.
Exactly.
Now, another facet is that is, you know, like I say, people speak out about certain situations that they know that sisters is in and all that. Look, men are supposed to be held accountable for the wicked stuff that they do out here. Don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? But once you start talking against the scriptures, oh, it's this and it's that, and that's not what it is, you're adding to the book. You're taking away from the book. You're dishonoring the Most High. If he wanted it to be unlawful, guess what he would have did? He would have put it in here. So don't get your lamp put out. Next thing.
Don't let no dude tell you that Isaiah 4 and 1 is telling you that he gonna get 7 of y'all.
Yeah.
That's twisting it.
One of the major things about that, just don't get duped. You know what I'm saying? Inquire heavily before you start listening to a lot of these cats. You know what I'm saying? They get to running that all, sister, you just ain't about the Most High. You ain't about this Don't listen to that. Nemo says, great lesson, Doc. Good job on Dave reading.
We're about to get Ark and round of applause. This is the first time out there.
You know what I'm saying? I stepped up here with no hesitation. Next time it's gonna be my man Anthony. You know what I'm saying? Let's see, what's the next one? Is there any schools or people in Texas? Well, the Ox said that he's in Texas. I don't personally know of anybody in Texas. You know somebody in Texas?
I know somebody, but
So, other than the Ox that's on here, that said that they from Texas, we can't really recommend nobody from Texas. You know what I'm saying? We don't really, you know.
just get some phone numbers. Hit us up directly.
Indeed. Y'all can call anytime. You know what I'm saying? We always throw our number out there. No more questions? Everybody good? Everybody gonna go home and honor their father and their mother and the in-laws? What you about to say?
Just like using like a sound logic. Y'all wouldn't describe his kingdom as with the allegorical or symbolic representation of something defiled, would it?
Say it one more time.
Like if you were to describe his kingdom, to give like a symbolic representation of components of the kingdom, it just would seem illogical to me that he would use something defiled.
Like what? What's the problem?
Like, I just wouldn't imagine he would say various pedigree of fecal matter to describe various chambers in the kingdom.
Okay.
Would that be like an adequate logic?
I got you. Yeah, he wouldn't be saying, you know, I got many mansions filled with manure. Right?
Yeah.
That's pretty much what you're saying. Yeah, I got you.
Because we spoke about what Isaiah 4:1 was not talking about. So it's just like reasoning of like why something would be used to say.
Oh, you're saying, okay, I think I get what you're saying.
Yes, you gotta address what it is talking about.
You said he wouldn't use Isaiah 4 if it was something that was just completely off and it shouldn't be done.
Like unlawful, abominable.
Oh, yeah, I get what
for me,
you're
like I'm gonna do it, like you know what I mean?
Right, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I can rock with that.
Or the other one in Matthew about like
Women,
about the
lamps.
what it's like in terms of being chosen for the kingdom, as far as preparation goes, with the oil, with the lamps, and the brides that was trying to get the groom. And it just seemed like he would use beautiful representations, like, you know what I mean? Just logical.
I got you. I will be coming up from Chicago. Where are you located? Toda Ya. We got somebody coming up from Chicago, y'all. Welcome with open arms. Hallelujah. I'm about to put the address in here. No other questions? Hey y'all, what's the zip code here, y'all? Get to the building. I know the zip code. Well, I don't know the zip code, so I can't be mad at nobody. Nemo code
48235.
48235. Huh?
Okay, 48235.
Thank you. All right, is that it? We good? Y'all like the lesson? Y'all hated the lesson?
donate. You can buy him a car.
Now y'all know, our salaries is coming up now. Just joking. We joking. All right. We just joking. We don't have a salary. All right. Let's pray out, y'all. Anybody want to volunteer to lead us in prayer? Anthony? No?
You'd be ashamed to be honest.
You'd be ashamed to be before men. I would be, you know what I'm saying? I would be ashamed to be in front of my father.
Get out.
Elder Martin, I know we ain't got our piano up here today, but after we pray out, can we get a song going? Oh, and we got some announcements too, y'all. So please, after we pray out, get back in your seat for a minute. We got some announcements. We got some things we got to bring up for everybody. So just bear with us for a little bit. Cool? All right, come on, y'all. Let's pray. All minds clear?
Much clear?
Anybody else want to volunteer for prayer? All right, I do want to make sure. All right. Father Yah, in one heart, one mind, and one soul, we come together and we just want to say thank you. We want to say thank you for the word that you continuously pour into